Alright, welcome back to F1 2020 career mode for round 2 here in Bahrain. Apologies for the lengthy break between episode 1 and 2, but yeah, we're finally back for the second race then here in Sakir. Just doing some R&D testing here in practice. Unfortunately, just like in the first episode, I accidentally deleted the recording from this race, so that's why we're gonna have to use the footage from the live stream, hence why there is a lack of sound. So yeah, apologies for that. Just in practice, yeah, and trying to complete most of the R&D programs. Didn't manage to pass that one, but for most of them I managed to get green and purple scores, just like the race simulation here. Currently in P20 as well, so we are struggling for pace a little bit, but we haven't done the qualifying program just yet, and that usually bumps you up the order quite a bit, especially because the AI cars are often sandbagging during practice. So as you can see during the qualifying run, now I actually didn't manage to beat the target time, but despite that, the lap time actually managed to put me up to 6th position, which is a bit of an inflated result because we were the only ones using the softs. So yeah, that was a pretty productive session there, and we will now move into qualifying, where hopefully we'll be able to maybe challenge for a spot in Q2. I can't actually remember where we qualified in Melbourne, but I can't imagine it was very high up. I believe it was somewhere around P20 or 21 or something like that, as we see our sneaker racing car here in the garage. So Q1 then, this is my first flying lap of the session on the soft tires, of course, and coming through the final bit of the middle sector onto the penultimate corner. Very easy to spin the car there when you touch that curb. First lap is a 28.7. Currently puts us in 9th, but as you can see now with 13 seconds to go, we start our final flying lap, and we are now down into P21 with just Nicolas Latifi behind us, splitting the two Williams cars. So we're into turn 1 now. This is our final chance to get a lap in to improve. And yeah, the session time limit has now expired, so this is definitely our final lap. Coming into turn 4 then, pretty easy to lock up the inside front here. We do actually lock up a little bit, but still make the apex of the corner, as we have a slight burst of wheel spin there on the exit as well. Into the middle sector, this is a pretty nice section of the circuit in my opinion, pretty flowing as well. And now trail braking into this second hairpin. We actually take a little bit too much curb there. I could have turned in and braked a little bit later, but I sort of didn't expect to have that much grip. I think I was maybe too used to the medium tires I was using a lot in practice. So I sort of overestimated the grip levels there, which cost me a little bit of time. The hairpin there was pretty nice. Now into the final section of the lap. 4th gear here in this corner. Can't really remember which corner it is. Already lost count. Avoiding the curb there on the inside. Now into the penultimate corner. Back down into 3rd gear to get the front end to turn, and back up to 4th to avoid wheel spin. Actually, Latifi's improved his lap time, so we are now in last position. So hopefully we can get away from that as we now break down into the final corner. Shifting down into 3rd gear, bit of a lock up there again, and a bit of a slide on the exit as well, as we now open up the DRS on a run up towards the line, and we improve our lap time a little bit, and that now sees us in 19th position then. So yeah, that's I think a slight improvement from Australia. We're right behind our teammate Anton Hubert. So yeah, Q2 was probably a little bit of a stretch. We needed to find half a second to get into Q2, so that's probably a little bit too much. But let's go into the race now.
We zijn weer terug op een circuit dat beroemd is om zijn prachtige beelden en de spannende gevechten om de eindoverwinning. Wie zal er vandaag in de schijnwerper staan in de Grand Prix van Bahrein? Er is geen tekort aan inhaalmogelijkheden op het 5,4 kilometer lange Bahrein International Circuit. Met de beste mogelijkheid in bocht 1 en dan kort daarna in bocht 4 ook nog een keer. 15 bochten hier, 6 naar links en 9 naar rechts. Misschien krijgen we 1 of 2 flatspots te zien in de scherpe bocht 10 naar links. Vandaag zit voormalig WEC-kampioen bij me in het commentaarhokje. Bas van Damme.
We hebben Lewis op pole position, daar is hij natuurlijk aan gewend. Maar het wordt ellebogenwerk om de leiding te behouden in de eerste bocht. Nog iets waar we aan moeten denken is het element strategie. Het wordt interessant om te zien of de leiders hun plan moeten omgooien om de auto's achter hen van zich af te schudden.
Alright, so here we are then on the grid for the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's the strategy is looking to be a one-stop from mediums to hards. Of course, being outside of the top 10 allows us to just have more flexibility in the strategy. So I reckon a lot of cars in front of us will be starting on the softs and doing a two-stop maybe, so that could maybe give us a slight advantage. Starting in 18th position because somebody had a grid penalty, so that has now promoted us up one place. I think it was our teammate actually who was starting at the back of the field. So let's go ahead then with 29 laps here at the Bahrain International Circuit from 18th on the grid. Lights on red, and race 2 of F1 2020 My Team Career Mode is now underway. A lot of wheel spin there at the start as we try and find the gap now before breaking down into turn 1. We choose the inside and actually gain a lot of positions there, up into 17th position where you get squeezed quite a lot there into turn 1. There is somebody still on our inside which pushes us off the circuit. And it's Roman Grosjean who now overtakes us as I accidentally pressed the wrong button there. Yeah, we've got Kimi Räikkönen as well trying to go up our inside. We try to brake late and hang it around the outside, but we don't really have enough mechanical grip to do that. So it's 17th position, so we've got one position of the start then. And we will now try to settle into a rhythm and resume the race. Luckily, we have managed to avoid damage as we dived up the inside here of Kimi Räikkönen. The AI do brake a little bit early into there, so yeah, I used that to my advantage. Up into 16th now behind Roman Grosjean, who I think pushed us off the circuit a couple of corners ago, or it might have been someone else. At least Grosjean took advantage of that and gained a position. So onto the back straight then. Rich mix, not using overtake just yet. I think we'll just be looking to settle into this race now on the first lap, and we'll see if we can hang on to the pace of the cars in front of us, because we are pretty much the slowest car in the field still. So it's going to be tough to hang on to the back of the Alfa Romeo as we have a bit of a slide there on the exit. But as long as you can stay within that 1 second DRS window, we could maybe be in the game to, have a decent finish. Because, of course, we will be looking to at least finish since we crashed out in our first race in Australia after tangling up with, I think it was Pierre Gasly or Dani Kvyat. I think it was an AlphaTauri who we crashed with in the previous race. Anyway, into turn 1 then on the start of lap 2. We've got Kimi Räikkönen there who is trying to get the move done, but we have the inside for turn 2 and hang on to 16th place. But the gap to Grosjean in front is already about half a second. I think it might even be a little bit more than that. So once again, Kimi Räikkönen is up the inside, and this is only going to cost us time, of course, and loses ground to the Haas in front of Räikkönen. So yeah, we've dropped to P17 now, and there is actually a car. I think it was Daniel Kvyat who had an engine failure there, and he is the first retirement of this race. Actually brings out the full cost safety car, so that's gonna be the first time in this scrimmage that we will have the full cost caution deployed here. I decided not to pit because, of course, we are doing a one-stop from mediums, so we can. The tires were barely worn out anyway, so that's why I decided not to pit. Some AIs actually did decide to pit, as Magnussen dies up the inside there of Raikkonen and even his teammate. I tried to follow him through. I skipped through that safety car period very quickly. We gain a position again as we get past Raikkonen. I thought I was clear there, but I tried to go back to the left, but Kimi Räikkönen was still there. We've got someone else up the inside as well, but it was briefly 3 wide into turn 4 there. But we hang on to P10 because some soft runners actually did opt to make a stop during that safety car period, so that has promoted us a couple of positions now. But for me, I didn't really think it was worth it because we are just doing a one stop, and the mediums were still pretty fresh, so that's why I decided to stay out. Anyway, on to lap 8 then now. We have gained a couple of positions once more, now up into 7th place as some of the two-stop runners are now making stops. So this is not really our effective position, but still it's nice to be in the top 10 for the first time in this tournament, I believe. So actually the pace was looking to be pretty solid as well. We are still staying in touch with Roman Grosjean in front of us, and also in front of him is his teammate Kevin Magnussen. We are still lacking a little bit on the straights there. As you can see, Raikkonen flying past us. We tried to get him back straight away here into the braking point. I actually wasn't really planning to do that, but I braked later in contrast to Kimi, and I sort of had to avoid to the inside and got the pass down as well in the process. So once again up at the 7th. Grosjean has also got past his teammate now, Kevin Magnussen. But yeah, I was pretty surprised to actually be able to stick with the 2 Haas cars in front of me as we now open up lap 13. This is our scheduled lap to come in. You can see the tire wear is still pretty okay. We're, especially on the right front, we're not even halfway through the wear rate, 44%. So up into P6 as someone else has pitted as well. We've now got the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel behind us. And yeah, this race is really coming towards us now. And of course, the one-stop is, maybe able to push us up the order a little bit, because we can now actually gain a couple of positions and just maybe defend at the end of the race to sort of negate the negative effect of having a harder compound of tire with a little bit more tire wear as well towards the end, because of course the 2 stoppers are going to make a pit stop later on into the race. Now trying to defend from Sebastian Vettel, he gets past us on the straight with the DRS, almost hitting the back of his Ferrari. That luckily managed to avoid making contact and potentially picking up a vinyl damage. So I didn't really try to fight it too much there, because we are not racing him anyway, and he was a lot quicker than I was, so there was no point really trying to defend that position. Lap 40 now, we will now make our first and hopefully only pit stop of this race. We are up to P5 now, so this race is going a lot better than what I was expecting, to be honest. So yeah, we'll make our stop now onto the hard compound of tires on which we will finish the race. My teammate is in the pits as well, actually, so we may actually have to double stack. Although I think he is probably far enough behind to not really have a negative effect because of that. So we're joining the track, P15 on lap 15. Still behind Sebastian Vettel, actually. So yeah, that was actually pretty surprising that we were pretty much racing a Ferrari full position. So lap 21 then. We've skipped quite a few laps ahead. I'm now up into P8 because a lot of 2-stop runners have now made their final stop. So we are legitimately inside the points. We are in 8th position, defending from Pierre Gasly there. And we are all going to the end. So lap 22 out of 29. And this is a pretty good chance to actually get a top 10 finish here in round 2 in Bahrain. So yeah, lap 22 at the end of the lap, start of lap 23. We have managed to build up a little bit of a gap. And this time I didn't have to defend as much on the straight. Also, it was maybe a little bit easier because I've now got Daniel Ricciardo behind me instead of a Honda-powered AlphaTauri, which is probably a little bit faster on the straights. So on to lap 23 then. We've now got another Honda-powered car, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen behind us. And he was definitely a lot quicker than I was. So I really had to defend very aggressively to try and hold on to this position. Verstappen tries it on the outside. Very unorthodox plays there to try and make a move. But we hold on once again. And yeah, with only about 7 laps to go, this is a really good opportunity to get a good finish. Verstappen now up the inside here into this corner. He actually has a bit of a tank slipper there. Now he hit the back of his car as he slowed down a lot trying to catch the car. And this has given us a lot of damage on the front wing. Unfortunately, I can't even make this corner anymore. And this is going to lose us a bunch of places. This has completely messed up my race. And we've dropped back to P12 now as even Lewis Hamilton, who somehow got somewhere down here, as now overtaken us as well. He actually locks up and we lose the other part of our front wing. And this race is really going from bad to worse now. We're going to have to pit and change the wing. And we are now in 20th position. So pretty much last. We will be last probably when we exit the pit lane. With just Pierre Gasly, who had to make a 2nd or 3rd stop as well. Behind us, he actually gets past us now. So we are now in last place. On lap 24, there was a brief virtual safety car, but yeah, that didn't really help us. Because the chance of scoring points is now out the window. So on to the final lap then. Well, penultimate lap, but final lap for us because we've been lapped. Valtteri Bottas wins the race. We're going to finish in last place, unfortunately. Which is very disappointing because we really had a chance to get a good finish here. And maybe even a points finish. But it's going to be P21 in round 2 of the season. At least we finished this time. But it was pretty disappointing to end the race after what happened with Max Verstappen. So yeah, looking back on that, it was really unlucky because Max Verstappen sort of lost his car in front of me. And I lost the car a little bit as well. So I sort of overcorrected a little bit to the right. And that actually caused me to hit the back of his car. And if I would have just pinned it around the corner and kept the same line, I probably would have avoided him. So yeah, there was a pretty good chance that I would have finished in 8th place if I was able to defend from the rest of the race. But yeah, wasn't to be. So yeah, that's round 2 of the F1 2020 My Team career mode done, and it's in the end actually 2 Ferraris on the podium. So actually Vettel did have a pretty nice comeback at the end there, because he had to come from quite a way back. I think he was just 1 position in front of us, wasn't he, after the final stop? So he must have had a really good final stint. But yeah, unfortunate to end the race like this. But hopefully we can have a bit of a better run next time out at Hanoi, which is going to be our debut there, of course. The first time we're going to tackle that circuit in this career mode. And I can promise you that from the next round onwards, I have recorded every single race. So I won't have to use the live stream, to sort of edit the video from. So that's been it for round 2 of the career mode. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
I've got a question, if you'd hear me out. In your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake that we are closer than we're far. Embrace for impact, you fight your fears far. Embrace for impact on the future.